I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people. I did it. Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
All right, motherfuckers, this is Master Marks, and I'm coming back with another motherfucking goddamn live video. And today's topic is a topic that is important because we are talking about one of the greatest wrestlers in the business, or that was in the business. Today's video is titled The Truth About The Rock. So let's get it started. Let me go ahead and take a drink of my little drink or whatever. And no, this is not beer. I don't drink alcohol, y'all. So don't get it twisted. We're not drinking twisted tea. We just drinking a little bit of green tea and ginseng. So before I start, I just want all you AEW loving cocksucking motherfuckers to just know that you need to know your role or get smoked like an AEW pack. Okay? So let's talk about The Rock. This is the truth about The Rock. The Rock is one of the most prolific, I guess we could say, wrestlers that came out of the business and went into everything else. I mean, he pretty much set the tone for a lot of guys. Like John Cena and more than likely Roman Reigns down the line in the future, Dave Bautista, a lot of things like that, which we're going to talk about Bautista in a couple weeks. I'm going to do some research on Bautista and get my shit together. But from, what we know at Master Marks, The Rock is worth $320 million. And if you really think about it, The Rock is the most successful wrestler to ever come into business. Now, I know a lot of people say Ric Flair, a lot of people say Hulk Hogan, a lot of people say all these other people, but there are not a lot of guys who transition from wrestling to live movies, even though I think, or action movies, not live movies. If it was live movies, it'd be on y'all favorite website, you AEW nerds' favorite website, OnlyFans. But he's one of the only people that really transition, well. Now, Dave Bautista does it or whatever, but Dave Bautista is not worth the amount of money The Rock is worth and does not have the name that Dwayne Johnson has. So, just from wrestling fucking alone, The Rock made a career for himself, left the business of wrestling, went to action movies. Now, mind you, his movies are not good. I did not say his movies are great because I don't really watch too many of his movies. I mean, his Fast and the Furious and Scorpion King was garbage. Tooth Fairy is a fucking jobber's favorite movie, so whatever. But for him to go from being The Rock in wrestling to being Dwayne Johnson, one of the biggest celebrity movie superstars in the world, worth $320 million, if not more than $320 million, he is the most successful wrestler to ever come into business. And he is a part of one of the most successful wrestling families, the Noai family, which got people like Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Rikishi, Umaga, hella people. There's hella people from that family. Fucking Jacob Fatu, all kind of people, bro, coming from the Anoa'i family. The Uso's little brother, which I don't really know what his name is. I haven't done any research on him just yet. So when we talk about it, and we think about The Rock, you have to think of what got The Rock to that point. What got The Rock in the position to be one of the biggest names in action movie history and one of the most paid celebrities in the world? I think he was one year, he was like the richest celebrity in the fucking world. What got The Rock to that level? Y'all want to know? It's called fucking charisma. Charisma. Being charismatic. Like, I know a lot of you fucktards compare The Rock to Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks has no talent. He's not charismatic, and he's a fucking jobber, and he's underweight. You can never compare to The Rock. He's just a Rock cosplayer. But that's what got The Rock to that level. Charisma. Having a good character. Having a good look. His catchphrases. Being creative. Raising the eyebrow. Being able to roll the tongue. Laying the smacky down. Like, there's a whole fucking event that goes on every week of wrestling called SmackDown, which is a catchphrase from The Rock. That shows you how big The Rock is when it comes to wrestling. You don't see a AEW show called AEW Roads to, well, you see that bullshit ass show Roads to the Top, but you don't see a wrestling event called AEW Roads. They got one called Rampage, and it's still trash, still fucking garbage. I gotta take another drink. Hold on. And Phony Khan forever, you know, he forever motherfucking acting like his show is gonna be something. He said he got a big surprising signing. Whatever. We'll see what the fuck that is. Us at Masked Up Marks, and we know you masked up motherfuckers will continue to smoke that AEW pack. We gonna roll it, smoke it, fire that bitch the fuck up. We smoke an AEW pack. But we not talking about the AEW pack, even though we are smoking a big old Zaza fat fucking stanky ass pack of fucking AEW. We talking about The Rock. Now, you won't see me sit here and say The Rock is the greatest wrestler ever. I'm not going to say that. I'll tell you who the greatest wrestler ever is down the line. But today, the most successful wrestler is what we're talking about. This is the truth about The Rock. The Rock is the most successful wrestler that has ever been in the business of fucking wrestling. There's nobody else. There's nobody else that can be more successful than The Rock. I mean, you got John Cena, but John Cena is just not The Rock. You got Dave Bautista, but Dave Bautista is just not The Rock. Those guys have charisma, but they don't have a charisma level of The Rock. The Rock is the top tier motherfucking guy. And The Rock is the one who took what he had. And I heard some story like The Rock only had like $13 in his pocket or 7 cents in his pocket before WWE. And then he became Rocky Maivia and all those things. Like The Rock took the limited amount of shit that he had. I don't even know if it's $13 or not. Don't fucking quote me on that shit. But he took the limited amount of shit that he had and he created a fucking empire. The Rock is the most successful wrestler to ever step in a wrestling ring. Because he's worth $320 million. Now, granted, a lot of people compare Rock to Stone Cold. I think Stone Cold is only worth $30 million to $80 million. I can't remember the exact numbers. So don't quote me on that either, motherfuckers. Before you get in my comment section asking me a bunch of dumbass fucking questions and cocksucking AEW, we smoke AEW packs, so don't even start asking me no motherfucking questions. Please, please, please. But back to what we're saying. The Rock is the most successful wrestler, and when you compare charismatic wrestlers, I mean, of course, the only other wrestler that I could compare his charisma to is Ric Flair, but in a way, and this is my personal opinion, you motherfuckers might not like it. I really don't personally give a fuck if you like my opinion or not. You watch this shit. If you don't like my opinion, don't watch the shit. I think The Rock is more charismatic than Ric Flair. Now, before y'all start taking deep breaths and hooing and hawing, Ric Flair has a character that'll probably last longer than The Rock's character. But when it comes to charisma and just like it just oozes out of the motherfucker, it's The Rock. He could be silly, he could be funny, he could be serious, he could be every fucking character he wanted to be. And that's where like you got the if you smell what The Rock is cooking, and finally The Rock has come back to your motherfucking mama's house to smoke the AEW pack. You got those things, and then you got the woo from Ric Flair. But when it comes down to it, like I said, it's my personal opinion, The Rock is more charismatic than Ric Flair to me. Ric Flair has a better character, but The Rock is more charismatic. Because The Rock is so charismatic that he surpassed wrestling and went to studio movies and being paid big millions of dollars to fucking go do a bullshit ass, boring ass movie that nobody really is going to watch. I don't think Ric Flair has ever been offered any money in a movie. He might have been in a Amigos video and fucking got to smack Cardi B on her booty or some shit like that. Smoke some weed, but his charisma is just not on the level of The Rock. That's why I feel like The Rock is the most successful wrestler that has ever been in the wrestling business. The most successful. He took a limited amount of shit, like I was saying before, created this shit, used his just natural charisma, his natural talent, and made millions off of that. There aren't a lot of guys who can do that shit. There's nobody that's more successful when it comes to wrestling than The Rock. Now, granted, The Rock might not be the greatest wrestler. He's a decent athlete. He's a decent athlete, and I don't think he's terrible. He had a good moveset. I don't see a lot of Rock botches compared to if you look at a fucking fucktard like Matt Sydal or Orange Cassidy or Matt Hardy or all these other fucking ass clowns. Compared to them, I mean, or compared to a lot of people, The Rock, I mean, he's a decent wrestler. Now, to y'all standards, he don't use technical work rate and do a bunch of submissions all day. But, I mean, he does, you know, the sharpshooter. That's good enough. The people's elbow, the rock bottom, you know, and that's good enough. The Rock's moveset was decent. So, I mean, altogether, I mean, there is no other wrestler that will be more successful than The Rock. I mean, maybe down in the future, but charisma just don't ooze out of guys that easy. Like Roman Reigns has charisma, but his charisma has just been starting to come out heavy, being a bad guy. So maybe that'll help him down the line. But when you look at charismatic guys who will get somewhere other than wrestling, the only guy that I can really fucking think of and take serious is The Rock. The most successful wrestler that ever transitioned from wrestling. And that's just the truth. That's my truth. That's just how I feel. I feel like The Rock is the most successful wrestler that has ever been in the business. Now, you might sit there and say, fat ass Kevin Owens, 316, I just ate your fucking chimichanga is the most successful. You might say that Kenny Omega, I just fucked your sex doll is the most successful. You might even say Adam Cole, I just got a little bit taller this year is the most successful. I'll tell you you're a fucking idiot because The Rock is the most successful wrestler that has ever been in this business of wrestling. He did it. He took it. He took that information that he was given, that character, and made himself a fucking superstar. Something that a lot of you guys who watch wrestling don't understand what this word means. A superstar. When you look at a wrestler, this motherfucker is a superstar. When you look at guys like Orange Cassidy, he's not a superstar. The Rock is a superstar. And I know I'm all over the place saying whatever the fuck I want to because this is my motherfucking shit, so I can say whatever I want. But let's be honest. When it comes to the success of The Rock, it's because he has charisma and because he's a superstar. He isn't an overweight blob who can't wrestle a lick or talk a lick, but just uses a bunch of fucking profanity. He isn't a Mighty Mouse looking big head motherfucking wrestler like Adam Cole. He isn't a Dean Ambrose wannabe like motherfucking Kyle O'Reilly. And this is just to talk about AEW a little bit because you know we got to smoke that fat AEW pack. Hold on me. This is just to talk about AEW a little bit. I see somebody in the comment section compare, and I think I might have talked about this before. They compare it to the Radicals and Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, but they said they are less talented, smaller, and they're all cruiserweights. Something like that. That's kind of how I took it. Yeah, they're all jobbers. And those guys aren't fucking superstars. This is why certain wrestlers now can never become nothing other than wrestlers. And they just fucking wrestle like Terry Funk till they're 90 years old because that's all they are. They're not superstars. They can't talk. They have no charisma. They're not bigger than life. They're not to the point where you want to see them as an action hero. I think The Rock is playing like Black Adam. The Rock is playing Black Adam. Can you see anybody in AEW playing Black Adam? The only Adam that could be played is Adam Cole could play Adam Page, and Adam Page could, I don't know, crawl around on his knees and play Adam Cole. Because they both got big fucking heads, so it probably will work out. Adam Cole has little small arms and shit like that too, but whatever. Nobody from AEW could be a superstar like The Rock and fucking play Black Adam and play all these badass characters, which the movies are boring as fuck, but badass characters. Nobody. There's not one guy on the AEW roster who could do that. But once again, we're not going to fully go detailed into AEW and shit on AEW today because we did smoke a big fatty of that AEW pack. We put a little bit of Zaza in it, rolled it up real tight. Hit that bitch and motherfucker let that out and got high as a motherfucker off that AEW pack. Like I see a lot of you motherfuckers talk about y'all get high as a motherfucker off the AEW pack. Keep smoking that bitch. And we got some AEW pack merch that's coming soon too. So y'all better be on the lookout on that shit as well. Because if you smoke that AEW pack, I want to see you motherfuckers with the t-shirts on and shit like that. Even wear that bitch to an AEW event. Who gives a fuck? Fuck that company. But altogether, The Rock is the most successful wrestler that has ever been in the business. And that's just the truth about it. There is no wrestler that could ever be more successful than The Rock at all. And one more time, I'm going to tell you idiots why The Rock is so fucking successful. For all of you hating ass motherfuckers who going to watch this video and say, the Adam Cole, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. For all you idiots who don't understand why The Rock is the most successful wrestler in the business, it's because he's a star and he has charisma. Kevin Owens doesn't have charisma. Adam Cole has no charisma. Those motherfuckers don't have charisma. They don't. So that's my opinion. That's my truth about The Rock. He is the most successful wrestler out of all wrestlers that has ever been in this fucking business. You guys might have your opinion. I have my opinion. At the end of the day, we only tell the truth at Masked Up Marks. We don't tell fucking lies. That's why I always say, don't quote me on the numbers. So you motherfuckers go, oh, well, I looked on here and it said that they're worth $175 million. Just so you motherfuckers don't do that stupid ass shit. I always say, don't quote me on that. So just so you know, at the end of the day, that's my truth about it. The Rock is the most successful wrestler, most charismatic wrestler, and one of the biggest superstars that ever came into business. Leave a like, share, subscribe, comment. Make sure you tell us if you love us. Tell us if you hate us. Tell us in the motherfucking comment section that you're smoking a big fat AEW pack before you go to work or you go get on your OnlyFans or do whatever the fuck you about to do. This has been Masked Up Marks. I'm out this bitch.